Have you ever looked at the meme and said, is that really true? Well, today we're going to do some digging around to fact check and rank those passed around memes for hashtag truth. So we've been seeing this debate about guns in the past few months at the time of the creation of this video. There's been some very public mass shootings which charged up the gun debate. This meme, which has come up, has really not only become the most offensive of the memes, it just reeks of ignorance and offensiveness. I'm not sure how this became the gun advocate party line, but the research I've done has shown that not only is this a non sequitur, it's a gross non sequitur. There's a lot to unpack here, since it's clear that the person creating this has no idea about history, but yet the author states that the reader should pick up a history book. So there's this weird trend that's going on with debating people about historical references in which they make some statement about how I or someone else should read a history book, not even knowing that I've read a plethora of history books in college and out of college to the point where I can say I'm a history nut. Not to mention, I have a degree in political science that comprises a lot of historical analysis. So when I ask these same people if they've read any history books and to make this point, they either deflect or laugh it off and actually say no. So is that a thing? I mean, really, to ask people if they're reading or have ever read a history book? Because I have a lot. Regardless, before getting more into this, I also clicked on the person who supposedly posted the meme that got shared around. And looking into their post, it's just gone. I looked up the date around when the post should have happened, and it doesn't exist. So I'm not even sure how it's even getting shared. But it is getting passed around, but the original poster decided that they should take it down. So the crux of this meme is to state that when you give up your freedoms, the implication is you end up in the gas chambers. That any gun control by any government is the slippery slope to genocide. Interestingly enough, the murder of 165,000 German Jews made up only 3% of the Holocaust death. These are German Jews that lived inside of Germany. Jews previously, during Hitler's reign of power, were allowed to emigrate. The largest part of the European Jews lived in Poland and the Slavic areas, where Hitler also looked to eliminate. Okay, point one here, that is in this article, it is folly to suppose that the untrained and unorganized civilian targets of this violence, separated by geography and language, representing small minorities of local populations, could have effectively resisted the forces that killed them. What good is a gun when you are being starved to death from a distance, even if they had been able to organize and arm themselves in any systematic way? All right, here's point two for those who think, well, I would be prepared and I'd get prepared for any government that tries to take away my freedoms. There were resistance fighters, and not just Jewish, but for the purpose of this video, I'm focusing on the Jewish people as what this original meme points to. These stories are legendary. The Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, the Vilna Ghetto Uprising, the Białystok Ghetto, Treblinka, Sobibor, Auschwitz-Birkenau, among others. Jewish partisans fought in the forests. The Jewish authorities in Palestine sent armed Jews into Hungary and Slovakia to try to save Jews. The most famous of them was the heroine poet Hannah Senesh. All of these actions were heroic. The Warsaw Ghetto held out against the Germans longer than France did. Okay, so what about the gun laws in Germany? Well, there were strict regulations in place before Hitler came to power, and the Nazis loosened firearm restrictions, but only for certain people. They allowed weapons later, but they were registered and then confiscated if you were an enemy of the Nazis. Jews did stash away weapons, but that did not do any good for them, obviously. Later, regulations against Jews owning weapons were issued, and they were forbidden to own any weapon, including knives, firearms, and ammunition. So even if they fought back, imagine the Jews of Germany exercising the right to bear arms and fighting the SA, SS, and the Wehrmacht. The Russian Red Army lost 7 million men fighting the Wehrmacht, despite its tanks and planes and military. The Jews with pistols and shotguns would not have done much better. All right, I think you might get the point. So if you're going to make such a salacious conflagration, truly make sure you read your history and read a lot before making the silly arguments that this meme makes. So it's a little tougher to give this a ranking because the Holocaust did happen. Kids walked out of school to protest guns, but I think the trailing sentences clearly make this such misfactual information, and it's offensive and just so flagrantly wrong. You know, I'm saying that this has got to be a 5. Completely false by using logical fallacy, misinformation, and then assuming the reader doesn't know as much history as the creator of the meme. Just plain irresponsible. So of course, as always, it's for you to decide, but as I said, consider that if you're comparing the decimation of the Jews, they were a minority group. Most people believe in some sort of gun ownership here in the United States, so comparing a minority group with a majority just doesn't make sense. And in my opinion, you offend the plight of the Jewish people by even making a comparison. So leave that part of history alone, move on to the new argument.
Hey, thanks for watching. Subscribe and look for more meme fact checks, and if you have any memes that bother you, or one that you are not sure about, leave a comment below the meme, or where I can find it, and I'll give you a shout out and do the research. See you next time.